Hey everybody, welcome back to another film of the week. Hope you guys been enjoying the content on the channel as of late. I am heading out to the beach once again. Just catching some waves, man. Hey, just doing what I like, you know. Out here surfing, out here. That kind of sounded a little egotistical, didn't it? Doing what I want, you know. I'm just out, doing some surfing, Just been trying to get my feet wet, literally, on this board, and it's been going well. But we're back for another film of the week, and just to make this convenient, Deadpool and Wolverine is out now, and I personally don't have much of a care to see it. I don't have a care for superheroes generally, so I am not interested. I've heard decent things, not the greatest responses coming out of it. Not terrible responses, it's just like pretty type responses. So I figured just to be in the spirit of Deadpool, I figured to discuss the original Deadpool, which was directed by Tim Miller and released in 2016. This was before it was before the Fox and Disney merger, so Fox was separate from Disney at this time, and they took a gamble with doing Deadpool. Now, development of Deadpool has an interesting history to it because I believe that Ryan Reynolds, who's been at the helm of getting Deadpool off the ground. I believe he was trying to get this project off the ground for a couple of years prior to the Deadpool's release. Infamously, so there was leaked footage that made its way online, which then ultimately gave them the green light to produce the film because of the response that it got online. And there's speculation, of course, as to who released that footage, but we can all kind of figure out who probably did. But hey, it helped. So, and we got Deadpool. Now, Deadpool, the first film, it stars Ryan Reynolds as the Merc with no mouth. I think that's the phrase, right? Forgive me, Wade Wilson. It just came to mind. That's the character's name, Wade Wilson, played by Ryan Reynolds, and he's, kind of just doing his own thing, and then he eventually finds out that he has cancer, I believe, and as a way to help his diagnosis, he eventually finds himself within a corporation that is working on mutant powers and healing abilities, and they do experiments on Wade Wilson, to which eventually gives him what essentially boils down to immortality, and he becomes the sarcastic, fourth wall breaking, charismatic anti-hero named Deadpool. And that's basically the story there. And like I said, there's an interesting history that comes with Deadpool getting produced, and in the context of the superhero genre, as it were, it does kind of give something of a bridge for other forms of content to take place, with R-rated type content, more mature content to be explored. Since then we would have follow-ups to Deadpool and films like Joker, Logan, other films that would dabble within a more mature rating, and Deadpool is the source of that confidence that the studios have because of how well Deadpool ended up doing. And for how I feel about it, I'm not really that crazy about it, to be frank, because the thing about Deadpool, that is noteworthy about him, that's the key mark about him, is his very meta approach. He understands that he's in a comic book, movie. He understands, that he understands the outside, space, and he, breaks the wall quite a bit in doing so. And in how the film represents that, that attitude and that behavior, it's more of a gimmick, in my opinion, than a integral part to the character, or really giving a, giving more dimensions to him. It just rather makes him more thin, more expecting, if I must add. When you see that character just on screen, all you expect from that character is the next joke, the next piece of humor. It's essentially, that's what it boils down to. And I don't get a lot of much outside of humor, and I mean, just speaking on a comedic level, I mean, it does have some laughs here and there, but like I said, I don't like the approach to that comedy. I wish that it was more integral to that character. I wish that there was a more eternal, reason for why that character behaves the way that he does, and not just, hey, it's just a key mark of this character, or, hey, it's just going to be like I said, a gimmick, something that is an outside element, rather than being something that is like, it's more about the external of that character than the internal side of that character. And I know it's a comedy. I know that some people may, look past that because of the fact of it's being a comedy and it breaking the fourth wall. I understand that some people will probably just ignore that. But for my money, I appreciate it when, I get more laughs when I can understand also the inside. It's not just about what you're literally saying. It also is about other key elements that makes for a more dimensional protagonist. And what you get in Deadpool is, some good jokes. It's obviously has its violence, but it's rather thin and rather just, how should I say it? It's very much its own deal, and I think that is a trait that works against it, because I think that more of which is weird to say considering the context of Deadpool as a character, I feel that more self-awareness on a filmmaking level actually would have benefited the arc and the overall interest in the Deadpool character, because I just don't really find myself attached to Deadpool as a character as much as I think he's just a guy with jokes. And in social life, a person who just has jokes, that's just, it's funny at first, but then it's just like, okay, well, what else do you have? And not much, so and you can pretty much watch the second film. I mean, it's like the first and second film you can kind of watch in a vacuum. Like, they're not integral. Like, you don't have to watch part one and then part two. I mean, it's kind of both the same quality type film, in my opinion. But I don't really fancy much of its position or how it chooses to deliver itself to the viewer. I wish that it had more of an awareness to how to build its characters and its developments, and in that, I think that the humor might actually be much more of a benefit, and I think that I would actually be more engaged as a result. But it's very much on the outside. It's about what Deadpool does, and not necessarily who is Deadpool. So like I said, okay, it's not terrible. Like I said, there are a couple of good laughs in there, some decent pieces of action. Ryan Reynolds himself, you can tell he's passionate. You can tell that he cares about what he's doing. But I just don't get much outside of just a couple of jokes, and some of those jokes are funny, but it doesn't make a character. It doesn't. It just creates a gimmick, and it just creates a quip, a trait, but not a completely well understood and rich character. So for something that is breaking the fourth wall and is very self-aware in that regard of it expressing to the audience that it knows about itself, being in a movie and all that, it's also disappointing that that level of self-awareness is not in the filmmaking itself, and that's a bit unfortunate. So those are my thoughts on Deadpool. I don't hate it. It's okay. I don't really care for the character too much. I think that the style of humor that he possesses, it wears very quickly, and I don't find it to be very interesting or very, like, oh, isn't that just charismatic or very, this and that. It's like, I don't know, it seems like a one-trick pony. It doesn't really do much, and really doesn't benefit the character, in my opinion. So I would be more interested to understand why he behaves that way. Why does he behave that way? And the film never addresses that. It's just, isn't it funny that this is happening and that's happening and that he's self-aware? To some extent, yes, but it would be a lot more funny if the filmmaking was more aware to the character that they had, and giving us more of an awareness to who that character is. So, but you guys, what are your thoughts on Deadpool? If you guys have seen it, your thoughts on just the franchise in general, and of course this new one, Deadpool and Wolverine, which I've heard is technically not the third film. It's apparently, I guess, a spin-off of some kind, but Deadpool is centralized to it. Who knows? But you guys, let me know your thoughts on that film, how it's doing. I heard it's looking to do good business. We'll see. I still have yet to hear a budget attached to it, so we'll see. We'll see how it pans out. But you guys, let me know all your thoughts in the comment section below. And that's gonna be it for this video, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in, and until then, I will catch you guys in the next video.